Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of Susan Lopresti Wellness, Mind, Body, and Soul, the podcast where we explore the highs, the lows, and everything in between when it comes to a woman's life, her health, and all aspects of navigating the midlife landscape. I'm your host, Susan Lopresti, and I have a special guest with me today. His name is Dr. Joseph Antoun. Dr. Joseph Antoun is a dynamic and a visionary leader at the intersection of medicine, science, and policy, and stands as the driving force behind L-Nutra's groundbreaking initiatives in health and longevity. With a distinguished background in medicine, a Ph.D. in Biomedical Science, and a Master's in Public Policy, Dr. Antoun has seemingly blended his expertise to redefine the landscape of nutrition and wellness. As the CEO and Chairman of the Board of L-Nutra Inc., Dr. Antoun is dedicated to pioneering innovative solutions that transcend conventional approaches to health. Under his guidance, L-Nutra has emerged as a trailblazer in the field of biotechnology, leveraging the power of fasting-mimicking diets, FMD for short, to optimize health and promote longevity. These cutting-edge programs harness the body's natural ability to regenerate and rejuvenate, offering a novel approach to overall health and longevity. Beyond his role at L-Nutra, Dr. Antoun is recognized as a thought leader and advocate for evidence-based healthcare policies. His multidisciplinary background equips him with a unique perspective, enabling him to bridge the gaps between medicine, science, and public policy. As a charismatic speaker and change maker in the health and wellness space, Dr. Joseph Antoun continues to inspire change, encouraging individuals to take an active role in their well-being. His commitment to advancing human health, coupled with his entrepreneurial spirit, positions him as a driving force in the evolution of biotechnology and health optimization. Previously, Dr. Antoun served as the chairman of the board at the Global Health Span Policy Institute and as a member of Forbes Business Development Council. Further, Dr. Antoun was the CEO of Health Systems Reform, the co-director of the Center for Health Policy at the University of Chicago, and a fellow at the Department of Social Policy at the London School of Economics and Political Science. Dr. Antoun also founded and served as the co-editor-in-chief of the Journal of Health Systems and Reform. And so without further ado, let's welcome Dr. Antoun to our podcast. Welcome, Dr. Antoun. I'm very happy to have you here with me.
Well, thanks, Susan. And as Natalia mentioned, I dedicated my life to healthcare and longevity. I started in healthcare as a physician. I discovered that what we've been told is to prescribe multiple pills for people to consume for the rest of their lives. And I didn't want to practice that sick care. I wanted to go and practice healthcare. And I started a global search for what are the companies, what are the innovations that can keep people healthier longer, and specifically that can slow down the biological age process of the body, because most of the disease that kill us, the big four, I call them the big four: diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's, and cardiovascular, they're killing 90% of us, and they're all age related. So my focus was to bring to the market a nutrition technology that can slow down or reverse the biological age of the body, so that it becomes one of the leading way to prevent chronic conditions, to keep the body younger. I always say, try to stay younger than your age. This is how you can stay a little bit away from the next big chronic disease. I went to nutrition, from healthcare to nutrition, because food is the only product we consume every day of our lives. And we comply to it 3 to 5 times per day. So that's the way to go. We built a company that is, if you want to think about it, it's like the pharma or the biotech of nutrition. And we call it the first nutrition technology company. We called it L-Nutra, L for longevity, Nutra for nutrition. And so we wanted to, turn the product that we all consume every day of our life scientifically into an asset to help us live a healthy, long life. We partnered with 18 universities, Stanford, UCLA, USC, University of Indiana, University of Miami, multiple universities across the world. And we agreed to do with them clinical trials, the same way we do it on pharma, but on nutrition, to identify food formulations that can help humans live a healthy, long life. 23 years after, so we waited 23 years. This is not based on books. This is not based on the social media, wave. This is through mice trials and then human trials. After 23 years, we today have multiple nutrition formulation that we have shown that it can help humans either slow down the biological age process or actually rejuvenate the cells and temporarily reverse the biological age score of the body. Our leading product is Prolon, the 5-day fasting mimicking nutrition. So within those 23 years of research, we studied fasting intensively.
Yes.
Because fasting is like a stress that supports the cells to rejuvenate. I don't know if you're familiar with the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 2016 that showed that the cells rejuvenate, a process we call autophagy, when you fast them. But the issue that people misunderstood is that you have to fast 3 to 5 days to activate cellular rejuvenation, not skip breakfast and do intermittent fasting. So you have to fast 3 to 5 days to create a deep stress that pushes the cells to rejuvenate. And to deplete your reserves first, you have to deplete your fat, you have to deplete your glycogen, and then the cells, under the stress of, hey, there's no more reserves, we have to rejuvenate. To get to 3 to 5 days is very difficult for people to comply, and it's risky. Nobody wants to water fast with the headaches and the fatigue and all of that. So we developed a new nutrition technology called the fasting-mimicking diet. It's a 5-day nutrition that you can consume, and then your cells do not recognize the food. So you're fasting the cells while you're feeding the body. And this is what we call a fasting mimicking nutrition. It's called Prolon. The product in the market is called Prolon. 15,000 doctors prescribe it today, over 1 million consumers, so pretty well established. And people consume Prolon, again, over 5 days. It's all plant-based, gluten-free, non-GMO, ticks all the healthy, from an ingredient standpoint, the health and clean food. And over 5 days, it simulates a fasting condition on the body. So your body is losing the weight, which everyone loves, is rejuvenating the cells, is improving, metabolic metrics, and you feel like you've lost a lot of weight, you rejuvenated the cells, you feel empowered, you feel you change your relationship with food, and you feel you're kind of onboarding on a longevity journey that is very unique in just 5 days.
Do you have any side effects from it at all? As far as so if you did a 5-day water fast, like you said, you'd have a headache, you'd be tired, you'd be hungry. Do you experience any of that?
Some people experience some of them at a much lesser degree, right?
Okay.
So some people, I always look at the proloners, we call them the proloners, and Prolon is Prolon, promoting longevity. We have 3/3. There's a third who doesn't feel much of the pain. They're metabolically flexible. They're a little bit more plant-based before starting the product. They've done a little bit of in and out keto diet, so their body is used to go from carb consumption to ketone consumption. They exercise. They're metabolically flexible. they actually go through it in a very easy, with an easy journey. Then you have the middle where they're like, we feel, especially around day 3, where the stress on the cell is high and they're rejuvenating, they feel like, okay, my day 3 was a little bit difficult transitioning to day 4, but it was a moderate difficulty. And you have some people who typically they're not metabolically flexible. They're doing a drastic change in their lifestyle with Prolon, and they feel it difficult to complete, and they struggle a little bit from day 2 to day 4. Once you cross cellular rejuvenation, it's actually day 4 and 5. People feel very energetic and very high and independent. So the difficulty for those would be between day 2 and day 4. But across the board, the surveys showed that 89 to 93% of people complete the 5 days. So on average, 91%, 9 people out of 10 do it. And this is what we love about it, because it's only 5 days. Anyone can do anything for 5 days. I always say it's short enough for people to complete, yet it's long enough to induce a metabolic reset and cellular rejuvenation in the body.
Is there anything else that the person can consume during those 5 days, like tea?
The coffee is just 1 cup a day.
Okay.
So, and without adding, of course, sugar and cream to it, because then you're nourishing the body, giving the carbs, you take the body off fasting. So definitely drink water, as much water as you want. We do provide teas, actually. So the Prolon box, it's a beautiful white box that gets delivered to your house. It has day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5. You open every box. It has your morning food, your lunch food, your dinner food, bars, soups, snacks. It's very consumer friendly, and again, it's all plant-based. It also includes your drinks. It's an L drink, a longevity drink, and it has teas as well, and it includes your supplements, your multivitamins, your omegas are all there. So it gives you food, it gives you drinks, and it gives you supplements. Now you can supplement, you can, of course, drink, and we recommend people they drink as much as possible when they're fasting. And you can have 1 cup of coffee. If you want to add stevia to it, that's fine, but we prefer not.
No.
But do not add sugar, do not add milk or any cream.
Right. So the side effects are not as severe as they would be if you run a water fast, but do you have some side effects like a headache or body aches? I know a lot of times that I've done fasting, I get bad body aches as well.
This is what I mentioned at a much lesser degree. So there's a third of people that wouldn't experience those, that is a third that would experience few side effects at a lower rate, and there's few that would feel the change and the struggle. They feel like, I have a lower lumbar, like flu. A lot of them experience a flu-like symptom because they're detoxing. We didn't talk about that. The cells detox so fast with fasting, right? It's part of the autophagy process, and the kidneys are overworking to get rid of all these all the fat breakage, debris, and intracellular, actually also detoxification, which is pretty powerful. And so some people feel like a keto flu. We call it the keto flu syndrome, and but that's few percentage points of people. Most people actually go through it. Some people would have a little bit of headache on day 3 and day 4, but the entire goal is to feed you, is to not have those. So that's the entire goal, and to help people understand day 1 is 1,100 calories. Day 2, 3, and 4, and 5 are 800 calories. So this is not a starvation diet. This is actually a nourishment diet. You consume between 50 and 70% of what you should consume. Well, day 1 is just the high one, 1,100. Otherwise, you're consuming 50% of the otherwise food intake that you would take. So it's still a significant amount of food, but it's designed to trick the body and the cells. We studied how the cells perceive food. What are the radars of the cells that actually tell the cell that there's food? And we designed the nutrition, the food formulation, to go around the receptors or not trigger those receptors that we call nutrient sensing pathways. Took us 13 years just on developing the product, $48 million in research and development. And again, afterwards, we tested it with 18 universities, big research centers around the world.
So you provide whatever nutrition they're taking on that 5-day fast. So there's nothing that they're eating on their own. Everything comes from this box.
Yes, because if you eat something on your own, you're interfering. The body
Yes,
recognizes the food, and you would go off fasting, right?
right,
So you want to make sure that you're eating what's in the box only.
right.
Otherwise, if you had anything else, you're interfering with the cellular recognition of food, and you would go off fasting. And a lot of people love that because a lot of people actually, the feedback is, hey, I have everything. I don't need to cook. I don't need
Yes,
to go shop. I don't need to pay extra money. Americans on average would pay $150, $170 over 5 days for food and drink and supplementation. And we
yeah,
priced it right there. We priced it at 175, so that actually your budget even it's a swap instead of going to
yes,
Whole Foods and buying your food for 5 days, which on the coast, on the east and the west coast, actually you pay more than 150, 170,
yes.
pay more
I
than
was
$200.
I was expecting you to say that the box was like $300 or $400, honestly.
Yeah, and we priced it so that
Wow, that's a good price.
everyone feels that they can access it. And actually, a lot of people tell us it saved me a lot of money. I typically,
Yes,
go to the restaurant once or twice or whatever, go shop from a high-end grocery, and it costs me more than that. But also they save a lot of time. You're not cooking, you're not cutting, you're not cleaning, you're not driving to buy your food. So a lot of people say I have a structured diet, everything is there. There's a meal card that tells me what to eat when, and it makes my life simple and it helps me be disciplined. That changing the relationship with food is one of most the biggest feedback that we get. And again, we're over 1 million users now. And over 15,000 doctors registered with us, doctors and licensed practitioners, meaning dietitians and chiropractors registered to provide the product. This is a testimony to the science that they trust behind the prolonged fasting nutrition. As I mentioned, 18 universities, 41 clinical trials. We just started our 41st human trial on it. There's no nutrition formulation that been tested this frequently in top universities. So the science is there, the results are there. Anyone who can try it gets results on day 6. I'm not promising after 6 months and after a year and you should
right.
do it every day and you should change your lifestyle. None of that. 5 days fasting is so powerful that it will rejuvenate the cells. It will help you lose the weight and do a metabolic reset at the same time.
What would be the advantage besides weight loss? More energy, clearer thinking, I'm sure.
The biggest reason to do Prolon, as I mentioned, is on day 3, the stress of fasting on the cells pushes the cells to rejuvenate. So the cells are fixing what's going wrong. They're detoxing. They're trying to be at their best performance to survive the fast, the seemingly fast. I mean, you're eating with Prolon,
Yes,
but the cells are not recognizing that. This reverses the bio-8 score of the body. And so what we did three, what we recommend you do is 3 prolons per year, 3. So I'm here to tell people to just give us 15 days out of 365 days. That's it. I'm not asking you do it all the time because you don't need to. You need to rejuvenate your cells 2 to 3 times per year. And that rejuvenation is the same way where you see, if you watch a car race, the cars take 2 or 3 times a pit stop,
yes,
right? And a pit stop, the mechanics come in, they diagnose what's going wrong. Let's change the tires. Let's, change the oil, do whatever. That's exactly what it is. You should not always be on a pit stop, but you come out of it at full strength and the car can last long and is healthy and to win the race. And so the same thing here is just 3 times per year. And the goal is to reverse the bio-8 score of the body. And what we have published, I think some now 5, 6 months ago, in Nature is the #1 science journal of the world. And we published an article showing that the 3 prolongs that you do will help you reverse your bio-8 score by 2.5 years. That's very important. And if
yeah.
you do it between age 50 and 70, consistently 3 times per year, it's a simulation. It shows you that you can decrease your bio-8 score by 11 years. Okay, why this is important, I go back to how we started this call about my story is I uncovered, it was my personal discovery, but it's very well established that if you slow down the biological age of the body this is the best way to keep it away from the onset of the first heart attack, cardiovascular disease, of Alzheimer's, neurodegenerative disease, age-related, of diabetes type 2, age-related condition, and of cancers, right? So the four big killers, you and I, and most people listening to us today are going to die out of one of the four age-related killers: diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's, cardiovascular. And the younger you keep your body, I always say, stay younger than your age. If you're 60 from the outside chronologically, stay 50, stay 45, and therefore you're a little bit further away from what's going to kill you. And that's the purpose of Prolong, is how can I keep your cells and your metabolic age younger than your age?
What if somebody has an illness, diabetes or cancer? Do you recommend someone like that to be on this program to try it?
So when we diabetes, I mean cancer, we're publishing. We have 8 papers on cancer, and this is how actually we even started as a company. It was the fasting nutrition before cancer treatment, because when you start cancer is a cell that by mistake started replicating and doesn't stop replication, right? It lost its inhibition. So it keeps growing, growing, growing. And when it becomes big, it starts even going through the blood and lymph nodes to everywhere across the body. And the thing that cancer loves the most is food.
Yes.
Because this is how it grows. Without food, cancer cannot grow. And cancer cannot resist chemo or hormone therapy or immune therapy or tyrosine kinase. So we started 15 years ago, or even longer, 17 years ago now, testing the fasting nutrition for 4 days before the chemotherapy, so that the cancer is starving. Cancer is very weakened. It doesn't find food, so it's weakened. And then chemo comes on day 4 or day 5 and have hopefully a much bigger impact on cancer. And when you fast the normal cells in the meantime, they hibernate. They're not replicating because they think you're fasting. When the cells hibernate, the chemotherapy does not impact them because chemotherapy kills cells in replication. So when you do the fasting nutrition before the chemotherapy, you're trying to protect the normal cells of the body, and you're trying to sensitize the cancer to be hit even harder by the intervention. Now, we're published 8 articles on that, and we're still doing more human trials on it, especially in breast cancer and prostate cancer. But on diabetes, we're very well established with the science there. Diabetes is a home run for the fasting mimicking nutrition. Obviously, diabetes is a combination of 3 factors. This is what traditional medicine misses. It's a combination of aging. You don't get diabetes type 2 at age 17 and 18. You get type 1, which is a different story.
Right.
But it's a story of aging. It's a story of muscle loss. And this is why the big GLP-1s today, they're not reversing diabetes. They're even when you lose a lot of muscle, 25% of the weight loss is muscle loss. So you slow your metabolic rate, muscle is so important for diabetes because it's the engine of burning carbs. And if you lose muscle, then you're not burning the carbs. Then even if you are on a healthy diet, you still remain diabetic. This is why most diabetic patients fail, even though they're trying to eat healthy, and nobody explains that to them. And number 3, it's a disease of overweight, insulin resistance, and HbA1c increase. So medicine focus on the third one, which is, oh, you're overweight, you have insulin resistance, and now you're diabetic. How about aging, and how about muscle protection? And this is where the fasting mimicking diet comes in. First of all, it's a 5-day regimen, so most diabetic patients can complete it. In the protocol that we do, you do the fasting mimicking diet once a month for 6 months. So now we're not talking 3 times per year, because the goal is to pull back from diabetes. You do it 5 days month 1, 5 days month 2, 5 days month 3, 4, and 5, and 6. So 30 days in total, 5 days per month for 6 months. And what happens is you're losing fat super fast, especially the central fat. Fasting picks up on central fat. We call it the visceral fat, which is the biggest root cause of insulin resistance and diabetes. You're reversing the bioage, so you have a more dynamic cell engine, the more burning engine of carb when you eat the carbs. And the fasting mimicking diet protects muscle. This is huge, because most diets, you lose muscle with the GLP-1s and the Wegovy's and Ozempics, and those, you also lose muscle. We have 2 human trials showing that you protect lean body mass with a fasting mimicking diet because the stress of fasting increases growth hormone, and the stress hormones, the stress hormones calls for muscle development, like growth hormone, for example. And
Mm-hmm.
the muscle with water fast does not have nutrition to develop, but with the prolon, with the fasting mimicking nutrition, it has the nutrients that it needs to grow. So you're burning the fat, but you're protecting the muscle, and which makes sense. When there was no food, people were fasting hundreds of thousands of years ago. The body re-steered energy, break down the fat, feed the muscle. I need the muscle so that you keep walking and you find the next fruit and the next vegetable. So we use that in diabetes. You do the fasting mimicking diet, you're reversing the body weight score, you're protecting your muscle, you're decreasing insulin resistance big time. We see on average patients decrease their medication dose or even get rid of 1 pill at month 6. So this is big. This is remission and regression from diabetes. In medicine, and I did my MD PhD in top schools around the world and my master's in Harvard and Hopkins, I never heard about diabetes regression or diabetes remission. They taught us it's a progressive disease.
Yeah.
You keep adding drugs as you go all the way to injectables and insulin. For the first time in history now, we're talking about a nutrition technology formulation, the fasting mimicking diet. And for those who want to read more about diabetes remission with us, they can go to lnutrahealth.com. That's our healthcare vertical, l-nutrahealth.com. And you can read how the fasting mimicking diet can help you regress or even remit completely from diabetes.
Tell me about Alzheimer's disease.
So we are testing Alzheimer's. We are in human trial. We haven't seen the results yet.
Okay.
Alzheimer's is the only condition where I think we can give a honeymoon period because the brain is a fat organ. The brain loves ketones. The brain loves fasting when it comes to ketones, and especially fasting with food because it's getting the nutrition and getting the ketones. So I believe we can give maybe a honeymoon of memory period. I call it honeymoon because it's a short. The problem with the brain, it does not have a lot of stem cells and a lot of power to rejuvenate. This is why up until today, neurology has been the most difficult discipline in medicine to have pills and to change the course of any disease. If you have a brain damage, a neurodegenerative disease, Parkinson's, it's so difficult to treat because the brain doesn't have that rejuvenative power. So I don't know how much the fasting mimicking diet will do on Alzheimer's. We're still waiting for the results. Maybe a honeymoon period, but the rest of the body, we're doing a great job tapping into awakening this rejuvenation from within that every organ has with the stem cells and the young cells that are there. The brain will see what will happen.
So have you seen trials where people have been totally reversed of type 2 diabetes?
Yes. So this is what I was talking about, remission and regression.
Yes.
So 67% of people within 6 months. So let us just absorb that. 6 months, meaning 5 days of fasting mimicking diet. Month 1, 25 days, you go back to your food. 5 days, month 2, go back to, so it's just 30 days in total within 6 months. 2/3, 67% of people decrease their medication dose or get rid of 1 pill already. So then you continue, you do it once every quarter only afterwards. You don't need to keep repeating it. And so we're showing that within a year, double-digit percentage of people actually are off their medication, off. And we have a lot of stories, people that were brought from insulin, that's end stage, all the way down to no need for pills and medication already on diabetes.
That's incredible.
I mean, it is incredible to hear because we're brainwashed, right? Oh, how can you reverse that? Think about it. Diabetes is a story of aging and reversing and overweight.
I feel it's a lifestyle disease as well, as far as what
yes,
you're putting into your body.
Exactly. But this is not how they train our doctors.
Right.
And it's lifestyle. They train, oh, there's genetic predisposition. I mean, our grandparents were thin and they didn't die of diabetes.
Right.
So it's genetics to a certain extent, but most of it is aging plus lose your muscle plus weight gain. And then this is when the engine is weak, it's not burning carb, insulin resistance, so you're not effectively taking carbs out of the blood. Carbs increase in the blood, we call it diabetes. The best way to reverse that is to fast. If you're overeating and aging and you become diabetic, what's the opposite of overeating? It's fasting.
Exactly.
That's the first time nutrition technology that can tap into the root cause of the disease, and this is why it's working very, very well versus give them a pill. The pill moves glucose from the blood to the tissue. The glucose goes to the tissue. Excess glucose is more fat. More fat is more insulin resistant. Then give them another pill next year, and then in 2 years another pill, and then when the pancreas fail, then we'll give them an insulin injection. I mean that's tragic. It's
Yes.
as how we dealt with diabetes. Of course, lifestyle change. Of course, the fasting mimicking nutrition will do a great job into supporting those patients. With regression is needing less medication, and with remission, meaning needing no more medication. I'll tell you something that happened. The American Dietetic Association, the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, and the Endocrine Society of the U.S. They got together and they issued a national position paper saying that diabetes could be regressed and remit. And a few ways of doing that, they named the fasting mimicking diet in a national position paper saying that this is now a new nutrition technology to dramatically impact the course of the condition.
That's
I invite
incredible.
everyone here who has, high blood sugar, even before diabetes, pre-diabetes, have some obesity, seeing some cholesterol increase, some blood pressure increase, and feeling that, hey, I'm between that age of 40 to 65, 70. My doctor is telling me I'm getting a little bit old, so my cholesterol increasing, my triglyceride is increasing, my blood pressure is increasing. I invite you to go to lnutrahealth.com. We have a team of dietitians and doctors. They'll take care of you. And when we say take care of you, they're not putting you on more pills. They're putting you on a healthy trajectory of lifestyle to help you reverse the root cause of what's leading to those symptoms and help you hopefully delay the onset or the progression, and for many actually reverse out of it.
I have Hashimoto's disease. I have an underactive thyroid, hypothyroidism. Is there anything that would come as a benefit to me with this program?
So I'm a man of science. As MD-PhD, as a company of science, we only can talk about what we have tested. We
Yes.
have tested Hashimoto. We have tested other autoimmune diseases with success. My sister has Hashimoto. I'm very passionate about that disease, and I'm trying to get a team of doctors who can partner with us to do Hashimoto testing. I would love to test it because our theory is Hashimoto, which is on the rise in women. How come supposedly a genetic or a predisposed disease increase in prevalence? Of course, it's related to leaky gut, to the food that we're eating, and cross-matching our immunity with foreign ingredients that we're getting into our body. So we believe with fasting, at least it can help leaky gut and improve gut health and help the cells heal from starting from there. What we see in autoimmune diseases, the immune system gets hyperactive and attacks an organ, right? That's an autoimmune disease. And when you fast, the body does not tolerate any replication of cells because it spends calories. So every time an autoimmune disease or on high inflammation, we see when you fast, and in the old books of medicines, they had fasting. And there are
Yes.
many clinics here that can fast you for long, inside of the clinic for long periods as a treatment for multiple autoimmune disease because the body does not allow the white blood cells to be hyperactive when you're fasting. It needs to preserve the calories. So this is why we have high hopes. We have tested fasting mimicking diet on other autoimmune disease, not Hashimoto. So I cannot put any
Yeah.
claim out there. But
I also have celiac disease, and I believe
yes.
that celiac is what ultimately caused me to have Hashimoto's, like you said, leaky gut, because I had all kinds of gut.
Maybe it's not, it's the reason it got you both, meaning
Yes.
eating high gluten, high processed food with a lot of preservative, with breaching the gut lining, you're
Yeah.
developing celiac and you're increasing cross-matching with immunity in your blood. We see that in a lot of people. To a lower extent, could be a mast cell. I do a lot of talks on mast cell because we're all like hyper inflated. Our cells are on the edge of immune activation because of all these foreign things getting into our body. So this could be all a common cause. And if you help if you transform your life with eating healthy, clean ingredients, you'll see a lot of improvements across the board.
Yes, but I'm super careful of everything I put in my mouth these days.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is
fantastic.
great. Is there anything else that you would want to talk about?
I appreciate you very much for giving us the opportunity to talk to your followers and really give them what is today a very well established way to help people change their life. I think the biggest disease of all of us today is aging. We all age. Age is what's killing us. Let's be clear. And so we love through the science of longevity to come in, and we're not suggesting pills. We're not suggesting artificial. I'm just saying, hey, we found a way to help you through nutrition, something that you already consume every day, and a plant-based, clean, healthy nutrition. Reverse a little bit your bio-8 score, lose some weight, and re-optimize your body. It's the same cost as your food. I'm only saying do it 3 times per year, unless you're pre-diabetic or diabetic, you do a little bit more frequently. So visit prolonlife.com, read a little bit more about it
I
for
will.
aging, and or for diabetes at nutrahealth.com, and you get all the science information that you need to build trust and try the nutrition products. It's prolonlife.com. And Nutra
Yeah.
is the mother company, is longevity mission through nutrition. And then
Okay.
under Nutra, we have Prolon Life for consumers, and we have nutrahealth.com for people with metabolic. We talk about diabetes, we talked about pre-diabetes, obesity. You can go there to be coach. It's a program. You have the longevity dietitians, doctor supervision, and you have the products. And the feedback is amazing there. We have 9.1 over 10 satisfaction score, changing people's life with markers that they thought they're stuck with for the rest of their lives.
Interesting. Thank you.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
Joseph, very nice to meet you. I
Same here,
love the
Susan.
work that you're doing. The best of luck. And to all my listeners, thank you for being here with us today. I will put all of Dr. Antoun's information in the show notes. You can go and check it out. Go visit his website, see what it's all about. I appreciate each and every one of you. And until the next time, be well, stay happy, and bye for now. Take good care, everyone.